How done kids movie? People are like watching.
Shadow should stay.
No, Shadow Man plays.
Well, you're probably wondering how we got here. Let's just say it involves a blue hedgehog, a massive ring obsession, and some thoughts and opinions that might tear the group apart. Minor warning, there are some spoilers. Let's roll that intro.
Sonic?
So when you think of Sonic the Hedgehog, you think of like this blue, big-eyed speedster zooming across the screen, across some big old hill or whatever. But for those of us who grew up with him, he's more than just a mascot, it's part of our childhood. So Khaled and I, we're gonna go back to where it all started, to the origins. Dude, look at these loops and the ramps and all the springs and shit. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh, definitely. But if it wasn't for Mario, Sonic would have never existed. Sega released Sonic in 1991 as a direct competition to Mario. They wanted a faster, edgier mascot.
Oh, you took a nasty hit. Are you okay?
I'm back in the city. Out of the way, Jungle! Hedgehog coming through!
Yeah! You show those leaves!
Alright, let's do a rundown of the Sonic franchise quickly. Launched in 1991 by Sega, it was an instant icon. The cool sneakers, the rebellious 90s vibe. Everyone loved it. Kids, adults, you name it. And then came Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Knuckles, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, other spin-offs, 3D outings like Sonic Adventure, plus the wackier titles. Sonic Boom.
Meanwhile, Archie Comics gave us the longest running video-based comic book ever. From 1992 to 2017, it introduced characters like Sally Acorn, you had a princess, a whole kingdom, and it gave us insane storylines, like they reimagined the Werehog Sonic Unleashed storyline. Some fans really loved it, others were kind of confused, but we cannot deny that it was massive to the Sonic lore.
Alright, so it has history. I can't believe this managed to even get green lit. And they even managed to rope in legendary comic Jim Carrey out of all people. How the hell did they manage to break the video game curse?
Absolutely. And like Ugandan Knuckles, this movie did not know the way.
I'm Sonic, a little ball of super energy in an extremely handsome package. I am living my best life on Earth. What?
That was an illegal left, by the way.
Okay, so the first movie dropped in 2020 after the infamous redesign fiasco. Who can forget that? Honestly, that trailer meltdown from the fans, legendary. But the final result was so much better. This is the first time in history where a studio was bullied so hard by the fans that they had to go back and change their ways and cater to the people that want to see this movie.
So I love Jim Carrey as Robotnik. That is comedy gold. And he brings his like 90s Jim Carrey-ness into the role.
Wrong. I'm in charge. Is Major Ben charge?
You've never seen anything like this before. In a world full of hungry little monkeys. Allow me to clarify.
Sonic's got a very good buddy cop relationship going on with, what's his name, Tom?
Aw, this one is cute. Let's keep him. Oh, come on! You've got car insurance, right?
Kind of like Christopher, the relationship with him and Christopher in the Sonic X. And that mid-credit Tails scene right at the end, that was perfect way to finish it off.
I don't know, man. Still felt very generic. I mean, alien buddy learning Earth customs? It's a kid's movie, sure, but it didn't really do it for me.
Yeah, I can see why kids might love it, but personally, it wasn't enough to make me a Sonic maniac. Next!
So just keep in mind for a minute that I do love this movie. However, I gotta say, there's some inconsistency with his speed, with Sonic's speed. Sometimes he's a lot faster than other times he seems like he's a bit slower, and it just doesn't really match up. What else is there? I love that the rings, they took that from one of the Sonic cartoons, that they teleport, that they're used as gateways. I thought that was really, really interesting. I don't know many people would know that. All in all, I thought this was a great way to introduce a character in a cinematic universe. It was good, it was done well. I really thought they were gonna fail, especially with his original design, where we all bullied the studio into changing it. And that was the highlight of the movie, that we bullied them.
I love the Sonic reference that we saw at the beginning of the movie. That was so funny. And any Sonic fan knows that that is one of the most iconic meme related to that. I also love Jim Carrey. What an actor. Can we stand up and clap for this man? His flair that he brought to this character, unmatched. Dr. Robotnik is obviously the main antagonist of the series, but when Jim Carrey did his Jim Carreyness, sent it over the moon, no pun intended. I also love that they introduced Longclaw and that whole angle with the echidnas attacking Longclaw that comes to the head towards the end of the movie as well. The backstory, yes, it is a little bit different from the source material, from the games, from the comics, etc. But it does have a very emotional charged moment. It does have very, very good storytelling. I also love the fact that they tackled some really, really deep topics, like important topics like loneliness, isolation. This is obviously at the backdrop of 2020's COVID pandemic. Everyone coming out of that was feeling similarly to Sonic in that movie. Sonic had to spy on, stalk Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady. He wanted to be part of a family. He had nobody in this world. At that moment, he went to play baseball, and that caused an awakening of his powers because he felt like there was no one that he could connect with. And these are the things that made Sonic 1 such a great movie.
My issue with Sonic is that it literally defies physics. Yes, I know it's a kid's movie, but the Hedgehog runs at supersonic speed. Sonic means there should be a sonic boom generated. None whatsoever. And the thing is, there's this particular scene where he's supposed to run up a building, but he doesn't do that. He chooses to do that later on. Why doesn't he do that to begin with? Another physics-defying scene I had was when there's an EMP being generated after he plays a baseball game. It knocks out half of the US. But somehow, Wade is able to call Tom through a cell tower.
I just thought you might like a latte with steamed Austrian goat milk.
Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them!
Quick stretch, little snack, and here we go.
Sonic, I love that you want to help make a difference.
Mind if I drive?
Sonic 2 arrived. We, the fans, got Tails and Knuckles. Idris Elba voiced Knuckles, and that was spot on. His voice acting was hype for the character. And the rivalry between him and Sonic was great. I love the way they brought that to the big screen. The final showdown with Eggman's massive Death Egg robot was basically a love letter to the old games.
Totally, Jack. They even teased Shadow the Hedgehog at the end. My hype levels went through the roof.
Knuckles was mildly interesting, but the plot still felt seen it before. Another final boss robot? Where have I seen that before?
I mean, same here. Some cool references, sure. But at the end of the day, it's still a talking hedgehog collecting rings. Not my cup of coffee.
So I love in this movie, there's a lot of nods to the old games. So the truck that Knuckles smashes through in the start, that's got Splash Hill Zone, which is one of the levels from an old game. The maze that they all run through, that's also an old level, Labyrinth Zone. And the temple where the Emerald lives, I guess, is another reference to an area from Sonic lore. I thought that was really cool that they managed to slide all those things in there neatly for the people like me that love it and know it. The Death Egg robot, that was fucking awesome. I love it. This movie did a really good job with all the little references, and I think it's a clear upgrade from the first.
You know what I love about Sonic 2? The references. They came in with the references again. Dr. Eggman saying, "I will show you the way." Classic. Even when Eggman is BS performance, he's still shining. He's still the man. And you know what? He cannot get enough of those quill shots. He is addicted to that like a nicotine addict. Come on. Don't you love it? And my favorite, my absolute favorite, when Super Sonic shows up on screen, hey, I screamed in the theater, and I'm not afraid to say it. That scene where he fights that big robot as Golden Sonic with the Master Emeralds blew me away.
So how does Dr. Robotnik survive the fall in the end of the movie? And how did he show up in Sonic 3? Is this Letty from Fast and Furious? What's happening?
Where are my manners? Sonic, meet Knuckles.
File select.
Sigma Alpha 2 heading due south over the city. Freeze! What do you think you're doing?
Hey, at least they took inspiration from the source material. Sonic Adventure 2 is basically what they used for Sonic 3. Oh my god, that was the greatest thing ever.
Right? Like the arc references, the backstory. All the fans, that's what they were waiting for. So, I mean, let's see how it landed for everybody else, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Sonic, you finally found your family.
Try to keep up.
I know it hasn't always been easy, but you didn't change who you are.
Alright folks, we've officially seen Sonic 3. And did it deliver or what? Well, at least for me and Jack anyway.
Shadow the Hedgehog, as he should be, is front and center in this movie. And they really leaned into his like edgy origin story from Sonic Adventure 2. He's an experiment, he's on Prison Island. We see Gerald Robotnik's experiments, like with Shadow, with not so much a space colony, but they had something similar. And even referenced, or just straight up showed Maria. They could have done a little bit more with it, but it was cool. It was intense, and honestly, it was pretty bold to take that darker, edgier tone for a kid's movie. I think it worked well though.
Bold? That's putting it generously. But the tonal shifts kept fluctuating. 1 minute you have cartoonish jokes, the next, it's this tragic backstory. I mean, come on, they couldn't even decide whether they wanted to be dark or funny. And it ended up confusing me.
Look, I'll admit, some of the visuals were impressive, but I found the story kind of jumbled. The big final fight was flashy, but not really satisfying. Shadow just felt like a rehash of Dark Rival learns a lesson we've seen in other animes or cartoons. It's just the same thing.
Come on, you didn't like the Super Shadow versus Super Sonic battle? That was epic. Get out of here, man.
Over the top is more like it. Don't get me wrong, Jim Carrey's Robotnik was still funny, but I think I'm Sonic'd out.
Same. It's just not for everyone, I guess. At least not for me. Not for me.
So much like how I said with the second one being an upgrade from the first, this is a clear upgrade on both of them. I don't know how the hell they've done it. I'm impressed. I really am. Some keynotes. I love that they have Live and Learn. The Crush 40 song that plays in Adventure 2. That was awesome. That was perfectly done. Sonic and Shadow did the iconic crossover pose, except in this it's in Super Sonic form, rather than just their base forms. I thought that was awesome to see. Space battle against the robots. Amazing. Battle against Shadow and Sonic. Amazing. Shadow being the generator for the canon. I thought that was an interesting way to implement how that works. Gerald Robotnik, sinister, yet in the beginning, you don't really suspect he's as twisted as he is, and it's a perfect plot twist. This movie, of all three, is the best one, and I love it. Amazing.
My turn. Can we just talk about this?
All right. So we have tried the old games, watched all 3 movies, and I'm still not seeing the massive hype behind Sonic.
Same. Hey, I gave it a shot at least. Maybe time to call it quits on chasing rings.
And we need Team Sonic's immediate assistance. Project Shadow is far beyond anything we've ever encountered.
Shadow's story began a lot like yours.
Okay, so the trilogy as a whole, Sonic 1, great, fun, origin story. Sonic 2, the introduction of Knuckles and Tails. And Sonic 3, introducing Shadow, the Hedgehog. And don't forget, Amy as well, towards the end.
So for me, it's really rare to see a video game movie franchise get this big and do as well as it has, but I'm here for it, especially that final battle with Shadow. Keep up the good work.
Honestly, each movie just felt more overblown, just like the Fast and Furious movies. Kudos to the creators for trying new things, but I'm not sold. The so-called darker storyline wasn't really enough to keep me engaged.
Yeah, I respect the fandom. It's huge and I can see why kids or diehards love it. But personally, I'm not planning to rewatch any of these. No way, there's no chance. You can put your money on it.
Welcome home, my boy.
It's impossible. Is it? It couldn't be.
Couldn't it?
Are
you?
And that, folks, is our whole review of the entire Sonic trilogy, including Sonic 3. We've covered the comics, we've covered the classic games, and all the ring chasing action.
Let us know in the comments section below what your favorite movie was and what you thought of Shadow's silver screen debut. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe for us, hit the notification bell so you stay updated on all our future videos.
And if you're like me, you probably had enough of the Sonic overload, and you probably won't be running to theaters anytime soon again.
Agreed. Each to their own, I guess. Sonic fans keep on rolling, and until next time, peace.